Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. Get ready. There's a major planetary shift happening as Neptune transits into Aries from January 26, 2026 through March 23, 2039. When Neptune had transited through Aries historically, it coincided with periods of radical spiritual and ideological change. Stay tuned until the end of the episode to find out what Neptune in Aries means for your zodiac sign. Welcome to the episode on Neptune transiting Aries from 12626 through 323-2039. Stay tuned until the end of the episode to find out how this transit will impact your sun sign. To understand how this might affect us personally as well as collectively, we need to dive deep into Neptunian basics. In astrology, Neptune rules dreams, spirituality, intuition, imagination, and the subtle realms beyond the physical. It represents the dissolving of boundaries and our connection to the collective consciousness. This inspires ideals, compassion, and creative vision, while also carrying the shadow of confusion, illusion, escapism, and deception when clarity is lacking. That's Neptune. And now let's look at the sun sign Aries, where Neptune will be transiting to put this puzzle together. Aries embodies action, initiation, independence, courage, individuality, and bold self-assertion. When Neptune's mystical, boundless energy moves through this fiery, assertive sign, it creates a paradoxical fusion of inspired vision and raw impulse, where dreams seek expression through decisive action. So some of the themes of this transit for all of us as Neptune goes through Aries, the first sign of the zodiac is, of course, new beginnings. We can start anew, especially when it comes to creative, spiritual, or mystical leanings. We will see the collective shift from wishy-washy Piscean feeling to bold action-oriented spiritual or humanistic ideals, and then actually standing up to defend them. We will see a rise in individualism as signified by Aries, with dreams of higher purpose or ideal scenarios, the Neptunian motivation. These will be enacted with driving activism, innovation, and social transformation. The whole continuing saga of media relaying false information, including the mainstream media, internet media sources, social media, and targeted audience news outlets, will continue to spew their fantastical views on reality. So we need to be aware of misplaced zeal or chaotic reactions to confusion and unknowns. However, on a positive note, this transit can bring in a prolonged period marked by visionary creativity, cultural renewal, and the emergence of new expressions of spiritual leadership. The themes during this cycle include more focus among individuals on their own personal evolution. This means a movement toward personal spiritual sovereignty, where individuals are motivated to act from inner knowing rather than passive belief. This shift may express itself through career paths, activism, creative work, and a clearer sense of personal purpose, what we call dharma in Sanskrit. Therefore, new social movements can appear which involve visionary philosophies and new paradigms of living. Yes, ashrams will come back, as well as like-minded communities. Individuals who are charismatic and embody idealistic leadership can arise from the ashes of the old Piscean paradigm of the old boys club and those with money who are the only ones playing the power game. There will be more focus on personal spiritual development through following one's own intuition and doing one's own subconscious analysis, of course, with a therapist, as opposed to following the group or spiritual or cult or political leader. Spiritual insights need to be put into practical action. And like I always say, the proof is in the pudding. That's what Neptune in Aries will show us. No more Piscean puddles of confusion. Go for it. The shadow side of Neptune in Aries, though, can surface as impulsive actions, inflated expectations, or confusion between illusion and truth. It's important that we all maintain grounding, discernment, and a strong connection to reality to be really able to follow through on our inspired visions. So, to get more clarity about this transit of Neptune in Aries, we need to look back at the past transit of this outer planet. The last time Neptune traveled through Aries was from 1862 to 1875, over 150 years ago. Historically, Neptune in Aries has coincided with periods of radical spiritual and ideological change. We saw this in the 1860s when causes like abolitionism drove the American Civil War. The previous time, during the late 1800s, when Neptune was through Aries, it brought to light humanity's impulsiveness as translated into its tendency to wars, such as the American Civil War, which occurred during that last transit, and the Franco Prussian Wars. There was also a influx of creative inventions, such as the printing press, the camera obscura, the typewriter, the machine gun, dynamite, and the determination to discover that came through with genetics. The opening of the New York Stock Exchange in 1865 and the first tube, London's Tower subway in 1872, all occurred when Neptune was last in Aries. There was also a sense of urgency to everything. There's Aries for you. People needed to be constantly on the move, doing something. Thus, they became more anxious and impatient, as only some things could move at the same speed. Now, look at our current time where we have the internet and things travel through the quantum field so fast. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens as time feels like it's going to speed up. People need to awaken and be less distracted by the external so that they can get answers to their inner turmoil. The previous Neptune in Aries transit aimed to infuse spirituality. Remember, Neptune is a spiritual or glamour planet with the bold energy and impulsiveness of fire Aries. During this last historical Neptune in Aries transit, people were more sensitive and had clear-cut ideals and goals, even with elusive Neptunian influence. As a result, many became trailblazers in philosophical thought or fervent adherents of radical religions. The religious movements that emerged out of the previous Neptune and Aries transit in the late 1800s, such as the Second Great Awakening, was a big religious revival that sparked a rise in church membership marked by emotional camp meetings and evangelical preaching aimed to make a heaven on earth. Other religious movements that came out of this time period were Adventism, religion emphasizing the second coming or second advent of Jesus Christ, dispensationalism, which proposes that God has a specific plan for humanity, which unfolds through different areas of dispensations as revealed in the Bible, and the Latter-day Saint movement, LDS, or Mormons, who gained influence during that time. But there were also some less evangelical and more esoteric spiritual movements that arose from that time, including spiritualism, the Theosophical Society, Rosicrucianism, and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Spiritualism sprung up during the last Neptune-in-Aries transit, with mediums and seances surging in society, trying to validate their belief that the soul survives after death and can be contacted and communicated with through a living medium. The Theosophical Society, an esoteric religious movement, came forth from India, pioneered by Helena Blavatsky, with beliefs influenced by Hinduism, Buddhism, and Neoplatonism. Theosophy emphasizes the interconnectedness of beings in the universe, promoting universal brotherhood and the belief in reincarnation and karma, with the goal of spiritual evolution and enlightenment. They also believe that there are advanced souls called the Ascended Masters who once walked the earth in human bodies, now helping humanity from the higher luminous spheres, such as Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Mother Mary, etc. Planetary transits have long been revered as powerful indicators of cosmic energy shaping human experiences and collective evolution. Neptune is a slow moving outer planet, so its transit of approximately 14 years in each sign is generational in nature. For example, the generation born when Neptune transited Scorpio from 1957 through 1970 are referred to as the sex, drugs, and rock and roll generation, as the new social acceptance in all these areas emerged during these years, and the repression of earlier generations was dissolved. We saw the sexual revolution ignite during those years as sexual taboos became outdated and open marriages and unconventional relationship situations were explored. Scorpio, the sign that Neptune was transiting through, rules sex and drugs and transformative music. The proliferation of drugs like marijuana, LSD, psychedelics, and others emerged. And real rock and roll was born with bands like the Rolling Stones, The Doors, Jefferson Airplane, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, and others, which merged sex, drugs, and rock and roll, making them a new defining force in society. Scorpio areas of mysticism, the occult, psychotherapy, and other mind expanding techniques were embraced as we saw the rise of gurus from India bringing their form of mysticism to the West, such as transcendental meditation, Shaktipat, and Sanskrit to the West, and the rise of gurus who followed that, such as Ram Dass, former Harvard professor who brought psychedelics to the forefront, and other teachers who came to capture the hearts and souls of the young Americans during the 60s and early 70s. Then, when Neptune transited through the air sign of Aquarius during 1998 to 2012, it correlated with expansive forms of expressing and disseminating ideas, along with shifting modes of communication and technological advances, all Aquarian signatures. There was an explosion of blogging and social media sites on the internet during this period as a way to share ideas, thoughts, information. So that was Neptune in Aquarius, brought us all closer together through the advent of the internet and other technologies that came to the forefront when Neptune was going through Aquarius from 1998 to 2012. It's created our current world. Now, as we look at Neptune transiting Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, this marks a new cycle. So the karmic retributions will come fast and furious to be burnt through. Aries is a fire sign. Aries is ruled by Mars, giving courage, impulsiveness, and pioneering spirit. The interaction of Neptune and Aries will be an interesting dynamic as Neptune's dissolving and spiritualizing influence tempers Aries' impulsive and perhaps rash actions. This will be a balancing act between bold action and what is in the best interest for the greater good. On a global or broader level, Neptune in Aries ignites shifts in leadership, innovation, and governance. We will truly see a changing of the guard or regime changes as the old order of global leadership dissolves and the new wave of hopefully enlightened rulers step up. The overseers of government and management of nations will change as new authorities come into power, for better or worse, including the rise of dictatorship and control. We will also see religiously swayed rulers or movements trying to vie for power. Fanatical and religious zealot types will try to be leaders and come into power. Also, the rise of cults more as people try to escape Neptunian inclination into what will be portrayed as loving safe havens from what's happening out there in our tumultuous world these days. Well, it's not a stretch to suggest that the evangelical religious right movement will make a power grab in the United States, and it will be interesting to see what happens. On a positive note, there will be so many innovative developments, including inventions and other ways to make life easier and faster. Aries is a fast sign and moves quickly. Aries' trailblazing energy, coupled with Neptune's genius, could drive advancements in technology, bold political reforms, and economic restructuring. Tensions will surely arise as Aries' assertiveness clashes with Neptune's easy peasy spiritual attitudes. The period will emphasize resilience and adaptability. During Neptune's transit through Aries, we may initially encounter frustration in pursuing personal goals as structures we thought to rely upon dissolve. This period offers powerful opportunity for growth and flexibility. Neptune in astrology is associated with emotional, transcendent, intangible, and nebulous states and qualities, and the spiritual and imaginative dimensions of life. This is actually going to be very, very good for the film industry, and Neptune does rule the film industry. We might see films going from violence to more spiritually motivated or bringing spiritual inspiration forth. Neptune signifies universality and the unbounded, an impulse towards merging into wholes, dissolution, fogs and mists, confusion, escapism and deception, as well as compassion, mysticism, healing, beauty, and bliss. Neptune, associated with fantasy, deception, and delusion, what initially appears as ideal or perfect may ultimately fall short once the Neptunian fog dissipates. Neptune in Aries, ruled by fiery Mars, the planet of the warrior archetype, expresses its significations with a martial quality, and matters can manifest in quick, changing, or sudden ways. Themes of willpower, individuation, courage, impulse, heat, ambition, decisiveness, passion, and a fighting spirit come to the fore, as well as how to turn a dream or vision into action. These could be emotional, physical, spiritual, religious, creative, or collectively oriented goals or experiences, which may feel inspiring or exciting and promise a richer, deeper connection to your own sense of inner strength and willpower, or foster a sense of belonging to something of greater purpose. On a collective level, we may see expressions of this through music, film, the arts, sporting, or spiritually oriented activities. Illusory or delusional states of being are not uncommon with Neptune transits. The realistic outcome of idealism aroused under a Neptune transit may not eventually live up to expectation. The element of fire is associated with inspiration and a creative spark. Aries represents a pioneering, bold, and entrepreneurial spirit, and Neptune is linked to imagination and going beyond the boundaries or reality of the mundane world. Neptune in Aries connects a passion and drive to achieve, to act, to express, to be daring and adventurous, to the imaginative, creative, fantastical, the unknown, or the spiritual. As a result, we could expect to see pioneering visions or innovations and an adventurous desire to seek truth, going beyond previous boundaries into unknown realms with courage, whether that's spiritually or in relation to the physical world. We will boldly go where no man or human has gone before. In the wider world, this may correlate with developments or innovations regarding Neptunian significations of water, liquids, gases, air, poisons, or matters concerning heat, power, fire, or conflict, which Aries represents. The passion and heat of this martial sign, with the expansive and idealistic quality of Neptune, can reveal a desire to feel noble, heroic, empowered, or in control. And that might be considered admirable or worthy in some areas of life during this transit. Additionally, the individualistic nature of Aries may be in tension with the unifying impulse of Neptune. Whilst Neptune expresses universality and collectivism, Aries has an individualistic and separating quality, suggesting a possible tension between the desire for collective focus and unity and the need for individual expression and determination at the same time. Neptune softens, blurs, and dissolves hard edges and boundaries, potentially softening dominance or aggression, promoting compassion, empathy, and understanding. Neptune in Aries can generate a gentle strength and actions aimed at peace, dissolving force, and tarning egos. And it makes me think of what's happening as I record this episode in January 2026. There are monks that are walking across the United States for peace. And they're walking as a group. And apparently, a lot of people, when they started it, were booing them and actually quite aggressive to them. So there they are representing the archetype of Neptune. And then we've got these individuals who are representing Aries as they are leering and bothering them. And apparently somebody even drove a car into one of them. So that is an archetype representation of what Neptune in Aries is. You've got those angry types that are not as conscious versus the monks from Tibet who are all about peace and unification and compassion. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Finding balance between strength and compassion will be the key. The qualities of both Neptune and Mars can be productive if managed carefully. With Neptune and Aries, it's not unreasonable to expect to see people getting swept up in a vision or belief, often idealizing strong, just, or heroic figures or actions. There may be some very charismatic and magnetic figures or leaders that come to the fore with long-term impacts personally or collectively. But the shadow side of Neptune and Aries can reveal overblown egos, exaggeration, manipulation, and deceit in order to feel empowered. During Neptune's transit through Aries, we will see and come in connection to outer planets, Neptune being an outer planet. This initiatory new energy is enhanced in 2026 when Saturn conjuncts Neptune in Aries in late February 2026, which marks a rare conjunction that combines discipline, structure, and reality testing with Neptune's visionary influence. It can be a time of confusion when people continue to be deluded or wake up and see where the wool has been pulled over their eyes. The populace will rise up, Aries, once the bubble of delusions and illusions have popped, Neptune. Much hidden or false information will come to light. So stay tuned. When I come back, we'll come to the part of the episode when I'll share what Neptune and Aries means for each zodiac sign. So stay tuned. Hi Hi there, this is Jill Jardine, host of Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine Podcasts. I just wanted to let my listeners know that I published a book, Sacred Sound Formulas to Awaken the Modern Mind. It's available at Amazon and through my new website, JillJardine.com. That's right, go on to JillJardine.com and buy the book. Visit and see all the other goodies we have on that new site. Check it out. Welcome back to the part of the episode, what Neptune-in-Aries means for each zodiac sign. This is my interpretation, prediction, based on being an astrologer for over 30 years. I'm also basing it on the solar chart for each zodiac sign, meaning that sign is the first sign in the zodiac wheel, and then it is analyzed where Aries falls in which house of that chart. Houses 1 through 12, each house representing a different arena of life and experience. Here we go. Aries, tag, you're it, Aries. Neptune will travel through your sign until 2039. Initially, you may undergo an identity crisis, asking the universal question, who am I? Both in a questioning, logical way, as well as existentially. Structures of your life may dismantle and dissolve in front of your very eyes. Everything in your life will be reevaluated to see if it is worth keeping. That means relationships will be tested to see if they can hold up with these new energies affecting you personally. Also, please take good care of your health. As symptoms or issues can arise, don't put off getting medical attention or seeing your health practitioners. Neptune loves to mine for your hidden gifts deep in your subconscious. Your artistic side could blossom under Neptune's watch, or you could unearth a passion for empowering people who weren't blessed with as much good fortune as you. So to summarize it, Neptune is transiting your house of self and identity. You could go through a deep identity crisis transformation as you come into your authentic self. Some of the byproducts could heighten your intuition and creative self-expression. But you could also self-judge and maybe doubt your confidence. It's a powerful time of new beginnings and spiritual discovery, but you need to stay grounded to avoid impulsive actions. Taurus. Neptune is transiting your house of karma, the 12th house in your solar chart. Misty Neptune heads into Aries in your mystical 12th house. Start listening to the messages from your soul. This otherworldly glow will accompany you in the coming years. Your grounded and earthy nature may be confused about this cycle of release and surrender. Yet, this is a fertile period for deep self-reflection and heartfelt exploration. Neptune's romantic and creative influence could lead you to fall deeply in love with yourself or with a partner who perfectly aligns with your current state of growth. For men, this may manifest as attracting your anima,
Ooh la la,
or inner female, as a mate out there in the world. For women, your inner male may appear unexpectedly, showing up in his sleek white sports car when you least expect it. So, to summarize, Neptune is transiting your 12th house of dreams, subconscious, and endings. You may encounter inner healing and deep psychological insights. It's letting go of things that no longer serve, including past patterns or hidden motivations. It's a great time for meditation, therapy, and any shadow work. But watch for the escapism or clouding confusion. It's a great time to work with altered states of consciousness, Taurus. Gemini. Saturn transits your house of friends, associations, groups, and the future. Perhaps you have outgrown certain friends or associations, or there are lessons to learn that friends and groups will teach you. Compassionate Neptune awakens your activism, and you will be guided to stand up for your rights and others who are being shortchanged. You will consider changing careers or adjusting your calling to encompass more visionary or forward thinking groups of people and perhaps make a difference in society. You will find your tribe and thrive on new ideas and collaborations. Neptune, transiting your 11th house of community and ideals. Expect shifts in your social networks and the groups that you hang out with. You may attract inspirational people or become involved in movements aligned with your ideals. So, discernment is essential in all of that. Cancer. Neptune will throw an aspect to your sun called the square in astrology, which tends to be challenging. In the next few years, there will be dissolution. For those of you born in the early part of Cancer, June 21st through July 5th, you'll be impacted in the next few years. Specifically, those June Cancers will feel the square from Saturn and Neptune, both transiting Aries, squaring your sun. Neptune transits your house of career, so you may experience disillusionment, dismantling, or dissolution in your job or career. You may be forced to make changes or your job just goes away. You could use this transit to recreate your career life if you have been unhappy in your job or chosen path. Neptune may connect you to your true dharma or life purpose. Prepare to cultivate a deeper alignment with your true life's calling. Now is the time to shift your focus from simply chasing achievements to creating a life rooted in inner peace and balance. Be mindful of codependency and tendency to take on others' burdens in the workplace, as this could lead to burnout. So, Neptune is going to be in your 10th house of career and public life. There can be changes, and you're going to be looking at your career becoming more spiritually aligned to who you are. Perhaps you will be inclined to find outlets that serve humanity, but make sure that if you want to make a career move, that it's in a grounded way and not just because you're not feeling it. Leo. Neptune transits your house of education and travel, stirring up the desires to explore new adventures in life. Journeys far and wide beckon you. Retreats by the water, on the water, or in the water are beneficial now. There may be new trainings or educational pursuits or degrees to pursue. Your dreams may inspire you to venture to distant corners of the world, sparking a desire to explore, study, or even relocate. Your spiritual and intellectual boundaries will expand. Be careful for Neptune's penchant for creating illusory realities. Not everything is as it appears. Approach new ideas, sudden opportunities, trends, people seeking your attention, and gurus with discernment. Neptune going through your 8th house of higher learning and belief systems can certainly broaden your view of the world and inspire travel, cultural exploration, and new belief systems. But make sure you don't fall for the ungrounded or unrealistic paradigms. Virgo. Saturn transits through your house of death, rebirth, and transformation. So all of this is on your menu in the coming years. Purge and purge some more as Neptune plunges the depths of your subconscious. Transformation at all costs is your Aries fire cry, Virgo. You will experience psychological deaths and may lose people close to you in your life. However, there is constant rebirthing as well. Transform your relationship to money and use this transit to understand what your money mindset can be and release and dissolve those financial blocks or subconscious programs that interfere with attracting more into your life. You could be going through some deep psychological transformation as old patterns dissipate. Libra. Those born in the early part of Libra, September 21st to October 5th, will be impacted and may have some challenges from Neptune opposing your sun. Specifically, those September Libras will feel the opposition from both Saturn and Neptune in Aries opposing your sun in the coming years. Neptune is transiting your relationship house, so there will be tests in relationships. A relationship or marriage could end, but at the same time, true romance can find you. Watch for codependence or draining relationships. Ideally, the giving and receiving in relationships are in a balanced flow and no one is taking too much. Watch for over-giving or self-sacrificing to maintain relationship. With nebulous Neptune in the dynamic sign of Aries, you may find yourself rethinking what commitment, love, and partnership means to you. Realistic boundaries are critical to avoid disappointments. Scorpio. Neptune transits your house of health and service. The focus is on work and wellness. This is a time to be vigilant with your health and take good care of your physical body. Respond to any health issues or symptoms promptly. Don't put off visits to doctors or other health practitioners. Tweak your supplement and diet regimes. You are entering a phase where you need to rethink your approach to self-care, work, and how to organize your daily life, while exploring more creative and spiritual methods for work and health. Create systems that keep you grounded, especially as Neptune's influence seeks to blur the structure of your everyday life. Sagittarius. Neptune transits your house of children of body, mind, or spirit, recreation, and creativity. It's time to turn the focus to your creative aspirations and find ways to bring them to fruition. You can infuse more imagination and wonder into your life. For your optimistic, forward-thinking nature, this will enhance your desire to embrace the mystical. You reap the benefits of this new open-mindedness that enhances both left and right brain hemispheres of functioning. Source the depths of your subconscious to unlock creative inspiration. The next 14 years will bring incredible offerings to share your work, gain recognition, and expand your following. Such things as artistic creativity, romance, expression, performing, storytelling will be enhanced. Capricorn. Neptune will throw an aspect to your sun called the square in astrology, which tends to be challenging. Those born in the early part of Capricorn, December 21st to January 5th, will be impacted over the next few years and may have some challenges. Specifically, those December Capricorns will feel the square from Saturn and Neptune both transiting in Aries. Neptune is transiting your house of home and family. Sometimes one has to move when Neptune transits the fourth house due to circumstances out of their control. It is a good time to fix any insidious problems within your home or dwelling, or situations or issues with your home could come up during this cycle, including flooding, leaks, gas, or oil problems that can arise. You might find yourself having more responsibilities with family members, whether aging parents or family members who might come ill. With Neptune moving through the foundational area of your chart, you may feel a sense of instability, especially as someone who values their security and structure. Embrace this as an opportunity to dive deep into your subconscious, heal ancestral patterns in your DNA. This is your chance to establish roots in a new way that feels truly aligned, nourishing, and sustainable. Aquarius, third house. Neptune transits your house of siblings, communication, transportation, and education. Your communications could be more powerful than usual, and you might find an outlet for writing or speaking. While you are the intellect of the Zodiac, this transit invites you to explore more fluid and intuitive realms of thought and expression. You jump between the intellectual left brain and the intuitive right brain with ease. Your innate wisdom can now be eloquently expressed. Tap into this enhanced inner vision as you find yourself on a transcendent quest. You may yearn for deeper emotional connections. Your creative expression and psychic awareness reach new heights. Be sure to document this journey. It's a ride that only lasts 14 years. Neptune in your third house of communication and learning. You may take new courses, and get into new ways of expression, including creative writing and other modes of communication. Pisces, Neptune transiting your house of money, resources, and values has you get really prudent where you're spending your money. Watch for leaky boat syndrome, where the money comes in, but it flows right out again. You may notice your value system changing, and what you spent your money on in the past no longer appeals to you. Your relationship with money and possessions undergoes a profound transformation. Simply opening to new approaches to earning and managing money can change your life for the better. You'll notice your values, self-worth, and financing undergoing subtle shifts. Spiritual values begin to reshape your sense of material and physical reality. I hope you enjoyed this episode about Neptune transiting through Aries from 2026 to 2039. Remember to share this one, download, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sounding Neptunian visions of a higher, brighter world into the quantum field.